Alright, we'll see if this works. It's a true test.
And test it out. Shiver me timbers.
Do you want me to be the person that goes through this time, or
If you want
so
to.
you don't have to do it every time?
Yeah.
I know, so sweaty. I know, so
Ew,
sweaty.
That's gross.
Oh, God, ew.
Oh, it's so
gross.
For the record, Alyssa's on the sweat covered
I'm just like in sweat.
She's just
oh
drenched.
My God. It's
so glad I asked you to go through.
Oh God, it's so wet.
That's so gross.
I guess that's about.
Your legs are so skinny.
I know. I don't know what to tell you. That's as far as we're gonna go, I guess. All right.
That's
well,
fine. Your seatbelt in.
Feel secure.
That's so gross.
It's so bad.
Just the leg sweat.
Keep one hand across.
Yeah, I think that's good. Lock in.
Yeah.
I think this was the one that might be the first hill where I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't mind it on the other ones.
No.
Maybe I've overcome my fear. I don't know. We have a very rambunctious crowd.
Extremely rambunctious.
Palms are sweaty.
Yeah.
I'm not my sweater already.
So gross.
Mom spaghetti.
All right, Hannah. Here's the first hill.
Yeah.
How you feeling?
I feel okay so far because I can't see the top.
Okay.
I'm just looking.
Looking forward.
Just looking down.
All right.
Looking at this.
That level. Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. I got one hand on my phone. All right. Here we go. I can still see our car. Yeah. Still see the car from here.
Oh God. Oh
All
God.
right. Here we go.
Oh God.
Here it comes.
My legs like my head like whiplash.
Oh, there's one for those.
And I remember there being a photo. Okay, wait, so that's it smoothed out. It feels like it's more intense.
That feels worse than the
Oh my
last
God.
on it. Oh.
My hips are like jostled around. Let's see if we got anything from that. I did not know there was a photo op. I didn't either. I don't remember there being a photo. Oh. I think my eyes. I think I look like that. Oh. Oh. Did that part where it like goes around it?
Oh yeah.
It's like rattling. My ponytail came down. Like it fell out of my head. I don't believe that they smoothed it out.
No, it doesn't feel like it. Yeah, no wonder the lens not that long. It's a rough ride.
Oh.
Oh, that's rough.
Please end.
The first part, see, that's the thing. I like the first part.
Yeah, but then like the second.
I know. And then the second half, I'm like, this is pain. We're like, this is pure pain. No, wait.
Oh. Jesus.
Yeah.
Sweet Jesus.
Some pain.
Maybe it wasn't sweat. Maybe it was urine. I soiled themselves.
Could be.
Oh. God. Oh my God.
Is it
My
still
joints.
recording? Let's see.
Oh, it's still recording.
All right, let's see.
Thank you for riding. Please exit on the left side. Grab your personal belongings. And have a nice day.
Unless you're Hannah and you get stuck.
God, more than once. Welcome. This is Research Rank Repeat. This is co-host Hannah.
This is co-host Alyssa.
This episode has been a idea that turned
It's been a
into,
long time coming.
idea that turned into a actualization.
Reality.
Yes,
Yeah.
reality.
This is a episode Hannah and I have we planned to do last year, just
Yes.
for full disclosure. We wanted to do it last year, and then we missed the window of time.
Yes.
So we then were like, okay, we're going to do it this year, and we made it work. We got it to work.
Last minute, threw together a day.
We did. We got a day together, and we took ourselves on a little trip. We were on site.
Yeah. First,
Yeah. Maybe the first on-site episode.
on-site thing that we had to actually
think.
physically go out and do.
I'm pretty sure.
Minus like going to a movie, but
And like the popcorn, you know,
Yes.
we collect the popcorn. Yeah, I guess movie would be other on-site to watch a movie,
Yeah.
but our first non-movie on-site episode.
we packed ourselves in a car and we got our coffee and our little breakfast sammies and we drove up north, as they call it,
Yeah.
to a little town in Michigan called Muskegon. If you're not from Michigan, you're probably like, that means nothing, as
true.
it shouldn't.
Yeah,
In Muskegon, there is a little amusement park called Michigan Adventure.
there is. It is the largest amusement park in Michigan.
Yeah. And we spent many a summers there as children / teens.
There was a period of time where we'd go there every year.
Yeah.
We'd do one trip. We had some family, friend of the podcast, Tara, who is
Yes.
our cousin, which if you haven't heard any of her episodes, check them out.
Yeah.
They're great.
Great
But
episodes.
her family lived on the west side of the state, and we lived on the east side of the state, so we would converge and meet at Michigan Adventures often and
Yeah.
do like a nice family outing there. It's always a good time.
It's always a good time, and it's 2 parks for the price of 1.
2 parks for the price of one.
They have a water park and an amusement park.
They do.
But yeah, it was such a big part of our childhood that we thought, what if we actually went and rode, not all the rides, but
Not all the rides.
a decent
Caveat.
amount,
Yeah.
and ranked them, because we've ridden these rides, but I think in the car we figured neither of us have been there in probably a decade.
I think I haven't been there in 15 years.
Yeah,
Like
more than a
half my
decade.
life.
Yeah, 15 years.
I think it's been about 15 years. That's
Right.
my best guess.
Yeah.
I think I definitely was there as a high schooler, but I think it was like I was maybe 15.
Right.
Maybe 16, but I don't think
Yeah.
I've gone there since then.
No, so we returned.
We did. And actually, Hannah, this was also, I haven't been on a roller coaster
Yeah.
in 12 years.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
I think for me it's been about 7
Yeah.
or 8.
And we used to go to amusement parks at least once a
Yeah.
year.
And
Like,
even when
would-
we
yeah.
traveled, we would go to an amusement park.
Yeah,
Like,
because we've been to a lot of Six Flags
Yep.
parks. We've been to Cedar Point, which is another being on the east side of the state. That's the park most people go
Yeah.
to because that's probably the biggest in the Midwest. Arguably,
I would say the most well
in terms of roller
known,
coasters. Yeah,
and known for which is now gone, but the Top Thrill Dragster is what it's kind of was known
well,
for.
they got the second one. They got
right.
2. You know,
We went to Disney. I've been to
Disney.
Universal in
Yeah.
Florida.
I went on that rickety 100-year-old roller coaster on the Santa Cruz Boardwalk. I don't think
Yeah,
you went on
I
it,
did.
Hannah. Oh, you did go on
I
it.
did
Okay.
go on it. Yes.
We didn't ride together, but
No,
yeah.
I did go on
Yeah.
that. So yeah, we've been on our fair share of roller coasters, rides. I think both of us are roller coaster junkies in different ways.
Yes.
I
So yeah, go
I
ahead.
love a roller coaster, but I absolutely cannot stand going up the hill because I have a horrible fear of heights, which I'm sure
Hannah
you've
hates
heard.
heights.
Although
Yeah.
this time, not as
Not too
bad.
bad?
Not as bad.
Although, to be fair, I will say none of the rides at Michigan Adventures are necessarily known for being
No.
extremely Cedar Point levels
right.
roller coasters.
But normally I close my eyes the whole way up, but I love the feeling when your stomach drops when you go down that
Yeah.
hill. So yeah, I love the thrill you get from it, the adrenaline rush. Always been a fan since we were kids.
Yeah. So I actually, as a small child, was terrified of roller coasters. We went to a Six Flags in, I believe, Illinois, on the way to a Wisconsin Dells trip. And this roller coaster went backwards. And my mom's like, oh, it'll be fine. It'll be fun. And it went backwards. It was absolutely terrifying. And I was like, I'm never going on a roller
I
coaster
remember
again.
that.
I was
horrifying.
terrified. Hannah and I cried. We refused to go on Splash Mountain when we went to Disney, and my mom got so mad at us, and we were like crying. We're like,
Right.
we don't want to go
Like,
on
I
it.
don't wanna go.
I was terrified.
Yeah.
And then when I got a little bit older, like 5th, 6th grade, I was like, you know what? Maybe I like roller coasters.
Yeah.
And actually, the roller coaster that changed my mind, Hannah, was Shivering Timbers.
Yeah.
I rode on Shivering Timbers, which is a ride at Michigan Adventures. We'll get to it. When I was about 12 years old, I got on the ride, maybe 11. It was about like a 5th, 6th grade era, I would say. And I rode the ride with a friend of the podcast, Tara. We went on the ride. I don't think you had gone on it yet. I think
Probably
you were
not.
probably still a little too fearful. And we rode the ride, and it was fantastic. I got off, and I was like, wow, that was so fun. It was so, like, exciting. And as we were exiting the ride,
Oh, yeah.
a little small red-headed boy threw up off the side directly in front of us and splashed us with vomit. Truly a dark time in my life.
Yeah.
I still, like, when we rode Shivering Timbers, which, spoiler, we rode it
Yes.
this time, I, leaving the ride, had, like, horror flashbacks of, like, being pelted with vomit. It was terrifying. But after that point, I then loved roller coasters, and especially riding with Hannah
Yeah.
was always my favorite because Hannah screams
I
a
do.
lot, and then it makes me laugh.
do.
So then I have a good time because I'm laughing at Hannah and also enjoying the ride.
Yeah.
So it's fun for me. It's fun all around.
Yeah, it's kind of ironic that the ride that made you love roller coasters is the ride that just made me think I never want to ride a roller coaster ever again. Kind of ironic.
If you've heard, if you listen to the intro, Hannah and I legally did not record on a ride.
We wouldn't do that.
We wouldn't do that. But let's say, hypothetically, we got some small clip-on microphones that we could Bluetooth connect to a phone, and then we pressed record audio
Yeah.
and tucked those microphones into our shirts.
Yeah.
And then went on said non-disclosed ride and recorded our audio.
Right. Hypothetically.
Hypothetically.
Yeah.
And hypothetically, let's say that we made that our intro.
Right.
And you could hear Hannah very clearly saying, "Oh, Jesus."
Yeah.
Like, screaming it. And to the point where, as we were listening to it, because honestly, we were, hypothetically, we're recording, and we weren't sure if it was actually going to pick up any audio.
Right.
So we listened back to it in the car. I was crying.
We listened
I was
to it twice.
crying. Listened to it twice. I was
Yeah.
crying. It was so funny.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that is maybe hypothetically something that we did just to
Yeah.
see if we could.
Yeah.
So we also recorded some other audio just in the park of us sampling some food because you got to get some food in an amusement
Right, because
park.
not only did we ride rides, but we thought if we're going to be here, we got to have some amusement park food.
We got to sample some sausage.
And some elephant ears because, God, those things are amazing.
Honestly, I forgot how good they were. We'll get to the
Life-changing.
food. We'll talk about the food. Maybe
Life-changing.
before we rank the roller coasters, we could cover the food.
I think we should. But
Okay.
yeah, I think Alyssa should give us some history
Yes.
on
Some
Michigan
background.
Adventure because most people probably don't know what this park is.
Yeah. For those of you not from Michigan, our friends from Michigan, most people probably are at least aware of it, if not having gone there at some point in their lives. But for those of you who've never been, Michigan Adventures is a 250-acre amusement park in Michigan, located in Muskegon County, which Hannah mentioned earlier in Muskegon. It is the largest park in the state. I feel like I have to burp so bad 1 minute. It's like trapped in my esophagus, and I can't burp, so it's like. Okay, I'm just going to keep going. If it happens, it happens if I burp. So, the history of this park. In the year of 1956, the park opened known as Deer Park. So, it was created by L.R. Beardsley, Dr. E.S. Gillum, Hardin Day, and Martin Cash. It was a petting zoo with deer, monkeys, llamas, chickens, and ducks. It included a children's storybook lane, and the first ride was a mini train called the Deer Park Special, which debuted in 1958. So it's kind of more of like a children's like playground-y petting zoo, not necessarily like a formal amusement park. However, in 1968, the park was bought by Roger Jordan for $115,000. So put that in terms of today's money.
Yeah.
Really not that bad.
No.
Pretty good deal.
Nice
So
steal.
he named the park, renamed it to be called Deer Park Funland. So that name was created in 1972. The rides that were added were, in 1972, they added a Tilt-A-Whirl. I don't know if it's the same one we went on, but a Tilt-A-Whirl, merry-go-round, and Ferris wheel. And in 1975, they introduced the Scrambler, a few more rides every few years. So they'd introduce some of the smaller, like, children's rides, and a ride including the Spider, which will come back in at a later point, but I just wanted to address that there is a ride known as the Spider that exists at this time. In 1979, Hannah, the first roller coaster is introduced to the park, known as the Corkscrew.
Nice.
Created by Arrow Development. I believe, to my knowledge, that is the same corkscrew that's still there.
Just repainted,
Just
layers
repainted
and layers
3
over
times.
top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, we'll note it, it was repainted since the last
Many
time we were
times.
there. In 1983, they added Logger's Run, which is a single plume, like a log plume ride, water ride. 1987, they added the Sea Dragon and a large train. That same year, the ride The Spider was sold to Michael Jackson to be moved to his Neverland Ranch, which was a fact that I was not expecting to read today, but apparently Michael Jackson wanted the Spider ride at the Neverland Ranch. So
does that
Michigan
mean he
Adventures
went
was
to
like,
Michigan Adventure?
Maybe. I know he liked amusement rides, so
Okay.
maybe he just was like, hey, will you sell me this ride? And they were
Right.
like, yeah, why not?
Okay.
Here, take it. You know? Anyway, I was like, that's a weird fact. I gotta write that one down. That's why I initially hadn't included the Spider as, like, you know, I was like, smaller rides. And then I was like, okay, sure. Weird connection. As we just, you know, earlier this year talked about Michael Jackson in the halftime Super Bowl shows.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So, in 1988, the park was renamed to Michigan's Adventure. So that is when the name was finalized. The owner changed to be Camille Jordan Mark, who was Roger Jordan's daughter. So she took over as, like, the park manager, I don't know, boss, whatever you want to call a park person. And this is when we get the Wolverine Wildcat, which is a wooden roller coaster. In 1990, we also get the creation of the Wild Water Adventure, which is the water park's name. So this is when the water park is introduced in 1990. It was created to compete with a water park known as Pleasure Island, which apparently, I had to look it up because I was like, I've never fucking heard of Pleasure Island in this context. And apparently it was a water park that was really nearby. It was also in Muskegon as well, and it was a water park at the same time. So they were like, hey, you know what we should do? Create our own water park to compete with Pleasure Island. And what do you know? Pleasure Island closed in 1997.
Never heard of it, so yeah.
It closed, and it said directly due to competition. Just to also note, because we always like to credit our sources, most of this information I got from our most trusted source, Wikipedia. I also went to the Michigan Adventures website for some select information as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is just a little rundown of when some of the rides were added. So 1992 is the Flying Trapeze. 93 is Zach's Zoomer, which is another small roller coaster. 95 is Adventure Falls, which is a water ride. 1996 they added a new Tilt-A-Whirl. So they did actually renovate the Tilt-A-Whirl. And Hannah, it is as old as you are.
I mean, most things are.
Yeah, so that ride is the same year you were born. In 1987, they expanded the water park to add more water slides and more. I think that's maybe when they added the wave pool, maybe. And in 1998, the crown jewel, Shivering Timbers, was created. That same year, there was, in late May, an event known as the Late May 1998 Tornado Outbreak and Derecho that damaged a few small rides and ripped up several trees in the park. Apparently that was a very damaging tornado that was on the west side of the state, so that occurred that same year. 1999, they introduced the Big Dipper, which it says it's a roller coaster, and I don't know, I don't even remember there being a Big Dipper. Like,
I don't either.
I'm not sure what that is or where that was located. I have no memory. If we went on it, because obviously we had gone to Michigan Adventures in the late 90s, early 2000s.
But I don't remember.
But I don't remember Big Dipper. So it existed. I didn't look too far into it. Also in 1999, Mad Mouse.
Yeah.
That Mad Mouse was introduced. In 1999 as well, they also had planned to build a 210-foot steel roller coaster, but it was never actually built. So those plans fell through for some reason or another. It was unclear why exactly, but it was noted that they had planned to do that. 2001, the park is purchased by Cedar Fair. Now, Cedar Fair, for those of you who are not familiar, is the company that owns Cedar Point. So Cedar Point, the amusement park, is owned by Cedar Fair. Cedar Fair also owns several other amusement parks as well, but Cedar Point's probably the most notable. In July of 2024, Cedar Fair and Six Flags actually also merged together, so they collectively are one monopoly of amusement parks now.
Okay.
So that's just to clarify how that's changed again. But the deal was made for, so just to compare from the last time there was a purchase of the park, it was for $115,000. In 2001, it was purchased for $28 million. So quite the increase, I would say. In 2002, they invested $5 million into new rides and improvements, including the Ripcord, which Hannah and I did not ride, as we've never ridden it and probably never will because I don't want to pay the money to do it.
No.
It's not worth it. As well as adding Snoopy characters to the park. So one of the mainstays, at least from what I remember as a kid, Hannah, is just Snoopy characters being everywhere in the park.
Yes,
and
also
Snoopy being on the logo of the actual park itself.
Also Camp Snoopy, which is
Camp
like
Snoopy.
the children's area.
They also added the Grand Rapids, which is a raft ride, and a new water slide. So really, there's not too much notable other things that happen in the park. It's been pretty much in a status for many years. But in 2008, a new roller coaster was introduced known as the Thunderhawk. It is a suspension looping coaster that was bought and taken from Geauga Lake Park, or Geauga. I'm not sure. It is an amusement park that was located in Ohio and is since closed. So I've never heard of it before, to be completely honest.
No.
I have no fucking clue. I had to look it up because I was like, what is this? And it was in Ohio, and I was like, I have no idea where it is, you know? Because Ohio's like Kings Island is in Ohio, and obviously Cedar Point, so somewhere they had that amusement park. It also, because of the ride, the park set attendance records, and it also had one of the highest profit margins of any of the parks owned by Cedar Fair. And that's also partially why they said there's no new rides, is because they were able to sustain just solely based on that new ride they had.
Right.
And we must have ridden it somewhere around right after it opened. Because I do remember
yes.
it being like brand new and being like, oh, there's a new ride. That's really exciting. So the only other ride that they've added is in 2013, they added a new ride called the Lakeside Gliders, which is a flying scooter ride. Which Hannah and I did ride this time.
Yes.
So we did get to experience the only new ride since the last time we've been there.
Right.
So, in 2025, this is just a current day, the park announced like 2 weeks ago that they were closing earlier than normal on September 1st. They basically were like, so we don't need to be open longer than that. They had some type of, publicity announcement, but that was seen as like they were just like, hey, by the way, we're closing September 1st. So usually they've previously been open in the fall, like select days and select rides have been open.
Yeah.
But they're not doing that this year. And it seems like multiple other parks are also like not doing certain like festive events. So maybe they just don't make enough money.
Yeah.
in the
Well,
fall.
also you still have to pay staff, and they probably don't get as many people, and it's like.
And also like kids go back to school,
Right.
so you're not gonna have that like summer crowd of just children and families.
Right. It's also not like a huge park like Disney where people will go on.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And the weather obviously is a factor as well.
Right.
So the logo has changed over time. And when it opened, it was originally a lion was the logo, but in 2001, purchased by Cedar Fair, it became Snoopy. So Snoopy's still there. We saw Snoopy. He was out and about. So the slogans have also changed over time. From 1956 to 1972, the logo was known as Fun, Fun, Funland! Exclamation point. There's also was a couple other logos, but I just did the noteworthy ones.
Yeah.
From 1991 to 2009, the park logo was 2 parks for the price of 1, which, as Hannah and I know, the commercial, and they played the song at the park.
Yeah.
I love a Michigan's adventure, 2 parks for the price of 1. Fun. Yeah, anyway,
Yay.
That was the amusement. That was the slogan. And then there was another slogan, but in 2018, the current slogan, 2018 till now, it's amazing here! Exclamation point. Anyway, that's the slogan. It's amazing here.
2 parks for the price of 1 is better.
I agree. They did that for 20 years. I feel like it's pretty... That's what I remember. That sticks in my head. So, I also looked on the website to look at what kind of sponsors they had at the park. So, here's just a few select ones that I found. Icy, Blue Bunny, Bomb Pop, Dayforce, Coca-Cola. I wrote Coke, but I just want to specify not drug
cocaine.
Coke. Coca-Cola,
You never know.
etc. So they had the list of all their sponsors on there. All right. Oh, actually, I apparently did get the quote from from the press release. We've made the strategic decision to focus on delivering exceptional experiences during our core operating seasons, spring and summer. So they also offered 1 complimentary ticket to Cedar Point for season pass holders at Michigan Adventure. So that was a statement they released on July 21st, 2025. So apparently I did that after the fact. I must have gone back and been like, maybe I should actually get the real info.
Right.
So the last thing I wanted to cover, Hannah, I believe, let me double check. Anything else? Yes. Were some incidents that have occurred at the park. I didn't want to talk about this with you until after we had gone, so that, because I know Hannah gets a little paranoid. She gets a little, freaked out about that kind of stuff. So, here's some incidences.
Yay.
In 2000, a woman fell out of the roller coaster Zach Zoomers trying to turn around to photograph her relatives. She fell fully out of the roller coaster, broke several ribs, and suffered internal injuries and had to be taken to the hospital. Did not say she died, so she must have recovered. But Hannah and I did not ride on Zach Zoomer, as it is a children's, more of a child's roller coaster, so we decided to pass on that one. But it's pretty wild that she just fully fell out of the roller coaster.
They do tell you not to take photos.
Yeah, they sure did. 2001. There was a ride called the Chaos Ride, which I don't know. I'm not sure what that is, but the ride collapsed with 33 people, and 31 of the people had to be taken to the hospital. The riders were stranded for several hours before they were able to be released and taken to the hospital.
Oh, God.
And it was determined that it collapsed because a single bolt was loose and nobody had noticed it. So
maybe that's why it's no longer around.
Maybe. I was going to say, I don't know what the Chaos Ride is. Okay.
Oh, God.
In 2014, there was a release of chlorine gas at the water park.
Oh, my God.
27 people had to be hosed off and treated, and 28 people were taken to the hospital.
Oh, my God.
They had a chlorine gas leak.
Jesus.
I could not, it's horrible. Let me be clear.
No, it is.
That is horrific, that there was a chlorine gas leak at a water park, but the fact that happened made me laugh.
That's
could
insane.
not laugh.
That was 2014?
2014.
I never even heard about that.
We must have heard about it and then forgotten,
Maybe we were there.
Or they really they kept it under wraps.
Maybe we were part of the leak and we couldn't remember due to the chlorine.
I didn't write down the year, but there was also the Thunderhawk got stranded for 30 minutes one time. People got stuck. They were able to get off. It was fine.
Yes.
2021. One of the trains on Shivering Timbers tripped the emergency brake after heavy rains caused the train to keep going. Basically, it tripped emergency brakes because it kept going past the point it's supposed to. When the employees went to disengage the emergency brake, it made the train shoot forward and collide with the train in front of it. There were no injuries, but it damaged the track and it damaged one of the carts, so they operated the season with one cart for the rest of the year, and it had to have some repairs. I think it was closed for about 2 weeks to repair the tracks. They then reopened in 2022 with 2 carts, so that was just to finish out the season, I believe, and then go from there. Yeah, that's my background.
Okay. I have a quick thing. I happened to find a blog post.
Okay.
From a man named Nick Weisenberger, who describes himself as has been writing about theme parks and roller coasters since 2007.
Okay, a theme park connoisseur. All right.
Yes. And it is titled My Detailed Review of the Highly Scrutinized and Often Misunderstood Michigan's Adventure.
Okay,
highly
scrutinized.
Yes,
okay.
he does note that he had been there as a kid and then he went again as an adult. But
like us.
A few quotes I found memorable.
Okay.
My mindset heading into our visit was, I just want to have a fun day with the family. And guess what? We did have fun.
Great.
Which, honestly, that's how I describe Michigan Adventure as a whole.
I would say so. Yeah, fun time.
And then the other one says, I think your enjoyment level with Michigan Adventure depends on what lens you view the park and what mindset you have going into it. If you're a coaster enthusiast and you've just visited Kings Island or Cedar Point and decide to make the drive to Michigan just to ride the coasters, you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
But basically, I would agree with that because I think we know a lot about this park, so we went in this time knowing that, you're not going to be riding Top Thrill Dragster, Millennium Force level rides.
Yeah.
The biggest roller coaster is, like, height-wise is Shivering Timbers.
And arguably the most modern coaster
is a Thunderhawk. But, like, the Corkscrew, like, Wolverine Wildcat, they're, like, smaller rides. Anyways, but I do like that of, like, whatever mindset you go into it, is that's kind of how you're going to view the park. So, yeah. But he said overall, like, a fun park, worth the trip.
It's a fun family park.
He did write about Shivering Timbers and how they apparently made improvements, but...
Yeah. You know.
Yeah. You know. I think what we should do is we should kind of just give a little overview of our trip. And then talk about the food.
Okay.
Situation.
I was also thinking, do you want to cover our rides in order that we rode them when we actually do it, and then we can give our ranking as we go? That's kind of what I was thinking.
Like, as we talk about the day, we could just talk about... I think maybe we should talk about the food first.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, so we both, like I said, we got our little Panera coffee and breakfast, Sammy. The goal was not to have to, like, eat for a while, because neither one of us is good eating while going on rides.
I hate eating while going on rides, because I just feel... Even though I've never thrown up on a ride, I just get the feeling that I will throw up if I eat too much food.
It also was a pretty hot day. It was in the 80s, so I don't really feel like I had an appetite.
I believe we did not eat between the hours of, 9:30 and, like, 5 p.m.?
5 or 5:30.
Yeah, something like that.
We got a water and we got a Powerade because it was very hot out, as we said. Yeah, so we had finished the rides. We were soaking wet from the water ride we had just gone on.
Soaking wet, yeah.
And we were trying to find something that was specific to the park, like a food or a drink, and I found that they had a Shivering Timbers IPA, so a beer named after the roller coaster Shivering Timbers, and they had, like, a little beer garden. So I'm like, let's go grab that, and then we'll get a brat, because who doesn't love a beer and a brat?
Sausages of the week.
Yeah, sausages of the week. We got there, and we saw they had frozen margaritas, and we thought that would be really nice. We could get a beer, because we were each going to get an IPA, and then I was like, what happens if it's not good?
Right, what if we hate it? Because IPAs for me are very hit or miss. Like, I can do some, but some I'm like, bleh.
Yeah, so we got a strawberry margarita. We got the IPA, and then they informed us they didn't have hot dog buns for the brat.
They had no hot dog buns.
And we said, can we use a hamburger bun instead? And the guy said, I guess so.
Yeah, because Hannah motioned to me and she said, they have hamburger buns. And I was like, do you think we should see if they can give us a hamburger bun? And you were like, yeah. And I was like, cool, let's do it. And he was like, yeah, I guess so.
I just want something to hold that wiener with. You know, I don't want to have barehanded on a wiener.
You know, look. I can be a respectable person. I can fork and knife a wiener, you know, like a good sausage.
Right.
We can fork and knife it. We can be, we can do that, but we don't want to at an amusement park. We don't want a raw dog. We want a bunned dog smothered in ketchup.
So we got our 2 drinks and we headed over to our little table. The frozen margarita, very good.
Very good.
Very refreshing after a hot day. Mm-hmm. The IPA was okay.
It was fine.
Nothing special.
It was fine. It to me, often IPAs just taste like IPAs.
They all taste the same to me.
They all kind of taste the same. So it was fine. It was not, but I will say, by far not the worst IPA I've ever had.
Once the brat came out too, it was like, IPA. It goes well with the brat. Yeah. So we got our brat, and it was in between 2 hamburger buns, which worked out well because we cut the brat in half and we each took hamburger bun.
So we each got one half of the bun.
I scooped out the inside of the bun to make like a little. And then it came with a free bag of Lay's chips. Not free, we paid for it.
It came with the meal. Yes.
So yeah, brat overall was good.
Solid. Yeah. So we also probably might do this for social media, but we did record some of our reactions to tasting the drinks and receiving the brat. Yeah. So you might see that at some point.
Right. And
on our social media.
We purposely split the brat just so we'd have some room for
the rest of our food we wanted to eat.
And then we saw an elephant ear, and I said, I don't think I've had an elephant ear in over 10 years.
We saw that when we got in the park. Yeah. I kind of clocked it, and I was like, we'll keep that in mind for later.
So you know damn well we went and got an elephant ear.
We did.
For those who don't know, it's basically like a, it's like batter. They fried
batter.
And they sprinkle it with, like, cinnamon sugar. Yeah. And it's, like, it's really soft on the inside. It's a little bit, like, crunchy on the outside. It comes in, like, a plate. Looks like an elephant ear is why they call it an elephant ear. If you've ever had like funnel
Similar to funnel
cakes,
cake,
kind of
yeah.
similar to that, or
Similar,
even like.
funnel cakes are more like powdered sugar than cinnamon, but it's very similar. Same
And
kinda
we
concept.
literally stood and pounded that elephant
We
ear.
found a table nearby. They have like a 50s kind of diner restaurant, and we found a table, like an umbrella table, and we pounded that.
We
Like,
didn't sit down.
We didn't sit down. We barely talked. We just stood and ate it for like
we
a
just
good
kept
5
going,
minutes.
mhm.
And we just kept nodding and being like, "That's some good stuff." It was honestly maybe the highlight of my trip.
It was so good.
It was so like we were sitting there and I'm like, this is all I needed. It
Yeah.
was just like after a long day of riding rides and waiting
Yeah.
in lines, you know.
And the one thing I remember about Michigan Ventures, we used to always get kettle corn because they make their kettle corn there.
Yeah.
We always grabbed a bag. So we're like, it wasn't open earlier in the day. We're like, we're going to go check. It was open. We got a bag to go. It was a bit like had been made hours prior.
Yeah, it kind of seemed like, considering before we got there, the woman poured a bag back into the pot, the drum, I guess is maybe
Yeah.
the right way to, the kettle drum, and then reheated it back up. So we were like, okay.
But when I tell you I took it the next 2 days for a snack at work and enjoyed it,
Yeah.
I did.
Would it surprise you, Hannah?
You
if
ate
I
the whole
told you
bowl.
I ate the whole bowl.
Yeah.
Well, okay, to be fair, we split in half.
Yes.
I ate my half of the bag that night.
Yeah.
That's all. I didn't even eat like an actual meal. I just
ate
ate
kettle
kettle
corn.
corn, and then I went to bed, and then I felt so sick the next day. I
Yes.
felt so sick.
Because all you had all day was like
That's all I had.
margaritas and
Margarita
elephant ears
and
and
a
kettle,
beer and like,
half a brat.
and kettle corn and like fried dough. So
Yeah.
yeah, I felt like shit.
Yeah.
The next morning.
I
when I was
think-
at work.
And that was like the food we had. I think if I had to rank the food, elephant ear would be number one for sure.
Number one.
I
agree.
would say number
one.
2 would be the brat.
I think brat number 2.
I would
Yeah.
say number 3 for me would be the frozen margarita.
I agree. Yeah.
Number 4 I would give to the kettle corn,
I would agree.
and I would give number 5 to the IPA.
The Shivering
The
Timbers
Lay's
IPA.
chips
That's-
could be like
They could be anywhere.
anywhere.
You could really throw them anywhere.
Yeah.
They were just like a freebie add-on.
But for sure the elephant ear was like way above.
number one. It's sad, Hannah, because like for me, especially like Dollywood kettle corn, like I dream about that kettle corn sometimes.
Very good.
Going to amusement park and getting kettle corn is like a core like Pavlovian like response, almost like, as Hannah and I know, Annie Ann's is like, they also had an Annie Ann's there that was not open, but I was like, that's
Yeah.
like I'm being conditioned to just like anytime I smell cinnamon sugar, I'm like, there's a pretzel nearby.
Yeah.
There's an Annie Ann's nearby.
Yeah.
But it was a little disappointing. I wish the kettle corn would have been a little better.
Yeah.
It was still good, but it could have been
It could have been
great.
better.
It could have been great.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
I agree. I think that's about how I would rank the food as well.
Overall though, like solid food.
Solid food, you know? For
You're
a
gonna
day at a theme park,
spend like, I think we probably
Oh, like-
spent
50 easily.
more than 50 on food,
Yeah.
but that's also what you do when you go to an amusement park or like a baseball game or anything like that
I think our
nowadays.
drink was $17, I'm pretty sure.
Each, yeah.
Each, yeah. So that's, 30 right there.
Right. Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, I would say overall though, like the elephant ear made it all worth it.
Yeah.
I would have driven there for the elephant ear.
I honestly would have too, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
Anyways, so
right.
the park opened up at 11
Yeah.
a.m.
Let's go back. Let's unpack a little bit. So Hannah, your day started earlier than my day did.
Actually, let's unpack more.
Okay.
We were thinking this year we were going to go right around the beginning of September because
Yes.
that's before all the rides close, like the
Right.
roller coasters. And then Alyssa texted me and said, "Oh no, they're closing September 1st." Mm-hmm. And so we had to scramble to find a day that we could.
Day. Just we were having a hard time finding one singular
Yes.
day to make it work.
And then it was like a Wednesday or Thursday at that point, and Alyssa's like, "What about this Sunday?" And I was like, "Okay."
yeah, it's like I could do
Okay.
this Sunday. Yeah.
So so we bought the tickets online. I looked at my route to get there. It's about a 3.5 hour drive from where I live, and I looked at my routes, and one of them went right past Alyssa's apartment. So I thought, well, I'll just scoop her up.
Yeah.
So I woke up at about 6:30, I want to say.
Probably.
I think I left my apartment around 7 actually.
I know this because so I woke up at like around 7 a.m. because that's usually around when I wake up for work, and sometimes I can't sleep in, and so I checked Hannah's location and I texted you at 7:05 and you were already on the move.
Yes.
And I said, I see you're on the move, going back to sleep. I'll check later to see where you're at. So you
Yeah.
were on the move by 7 a.m.
Yeah, so I made the about 2 hour drive to Alyssa. Got to her apartment, went up there. We tested the microphones.
Made sure they work.
Hadn't
Yes.
tried them out. We ordered our Panera to go.
Yep.
And then we went and picked up our Panera.
Yeah. And then we got on the road.
Yeah, we took the hour-and-a-half drive. Alyssa drove since
Yeah,
I had driven
did.
prior.
It's pretty straightforward. I will say, Hannah, the one thing we kept commenting on is that there was no advertising at all until we were like one exit from getting off the highway.
But then once you get off, there's like signs every like.
Yeah, but I'm like, where's the advertisement for this park? Like, you feel like you put it on the highway, you know.
It was weird.
It was a bit odd. So we made comments about that. We got to the park. We got to the park like just right after 11. So the park opens at 11. We probably got to parking like the actual like to get to show
like
us our parking
11:05.
11:05.
Yeah.
The parking situation was
a mess.
So what they ended up having was 5 lanes of people entering like the stills to like the
to
the
pay
turnstiles
or
to pay,
scan
or
your
to show,
pass or
show a
whatever.
parking pass. And then what they had was about 30 feet, and then all 5 lanes converged into one singular lane.
Yeah, but it was weird because it converged into like 3 lanes and then 2
one
and then
lane,
randomly
yeah.
1. So it was really backed up.
So there was no order
No.
because there's no direction of how to go in. So people are just kind of like shifting themselves in. There's no direct route. So it was a mess. But we parked relatively close to the park. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
We were like when we parked, if we turned around, like the entrance was like right in our line of view.
Yeah. And we were at the very end of the parking
Right.
lot, but it was directly like.
But
the
not,
park
I
was
mean, it
directly in
probably
front
took
of
us 2 minutes,
2
to
minutes,
walk
yeah.
in.
Right. Knowing how big that parking lot
Right.
is, it's humongous.
Yeah.
It's a humongous.
Yeah, so we got there relatively early. We sprayed ourselves down with sunscreen because
We did.
not going to be burnt.
It's hot. You know, we documented. I took a photo of us at the start of our day just to document our spirits.
Yeah.
And we went in the park. You know,
We
walked
did
right in.
go to the bathroom because I had drank my coffee and I felt a massive shit coming on.
Great.
And
I'm
I
so
one
happy for
time
you.
we had gone to Dollywood and we went on this ride called the Tennessee Tornado. And halfway through the ride, I'm like, it smells like literal shit. And I thought I'd shit my pants.
Yeah.
Literally ran to the bathroom after to make sure, and I did not.
You did like run to the bathroom.
I thought I'd shit my pants. Someone else might have shit their pants. I'm just saying. Anyways, so with this one, the ride called the Mad Mouse.
Yes.
We
the Mad
remembered
Mouse.
when we were kids, it always had the longest lines.
Yes.
And so we thought we either want to get there and go on first, or we want to save it for the end.
Right.
We decided to go first. We're like, you know,
it's right near the beginning of the park.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's a small ride. It's like a family ride, I guess I would describe it as.
yeah. And I think the reason it takes so long is because each cart is 4 people max. And they also like
They only
have
run one cart at a time.
right, and there's probably
Yeah.
like 8 carts total, but they have to
Yeah.
like load people on and like run it, and it's not that long of a ride. It's basically like you go up a hill, you go up to the top, and you just kind of like zip zap back and forth.
So as a kid, to me, it always looked like a mouse cage, like a
Yeah.
rat, you know, like
Massive
a, like
ride.
Yeah, like it was humongous, like a twist and turn, up, down, up, down. And then when we got there, Hannah and I were like,
I was like, this is
I feel
really
like this
small.
is bigger. I remember this
This is
being
tiny.
bigger. I remember this
Yeah.
being larger. But that was a ride we always, generally, I feel like we were always on it. It was dark out. It was always near the end of the night.
Oh.
Like before the park closed. I don't know if it always closed at 8. Now it closes at 8, but I feel like we were definitely there when it was dark.
Well,
So I
to be
wonder if it
fair,
used to have-
the sun sets now at like 8,
Yeah.
8:30, so I
But
think they keep it
yeah.
open later during the
Okay.
earlier summer.
So I was like, I feel like we would have only gone in the summer, you know,
Right.
when we weren't in school. So I wonder if they used to have later, like 9 p.m. maybe
Yeah.
or something. But I remember it always being like one of the last rides we went on.
Right.
Was Mad Mouse. But anyway, we got in that line. And we had the longest wait that
Yeah.
we had the entire day, which was a whole hour.
Yes.
We waited 1 hour in line.
Yep.
That line had absolutely no shade in it.
No, we
There
were
was like
we were,
one tree.
we were roasting.
We were starting to roast.
We hadn't- We also hadn't gotten water because
Yes.
you can't bring in food and drinks. But we didn't want to get a water yet, so we kind of were just like dry mouthing it out
Yeah,
there.
we were really driving. Hannah and I made a bet about which color cart we were going to get, which we really fucked ourselves over because there were 2 carts. There was two colors that had 2 carts, and the rest of the colors had 1 cart. And we both picked colors that had 1 cart when we could
Yeah.
have just easily picked a 2 cart. I
Yeah.
picked purple,
I picked red.
and neither of those were correct.
I think we were on a pink.
We were on pink.
But the red and purple were directly behind it, so we were like one off.
So we made the decision that we'd like to sit in the back seat of the pink mouse cart. So the carts look like mice. They're they have mouse tails on the back. They have little mouse ears on the front. Looks like a little mouse.
Yeah,
ride
we were also like we were by ourselves. There was no two people with us.
It was just us two because they'll just do people in groups. That's also why it takes really long because they don't like force you to go in groups. They just say, okay, 2 people, here you go. That bar was crushing my pelvis. They really forced that shit
Mine
down.
was like, I got some space here. I'm fine. Alyssa's was like,
I was in. I was locked.
She was
in.
locked.
I felt very secure. But Hannah and I get on that ride, and I was like, they're whipping around these corners.
Oh yeah,
we were flying. I was laughing so much just because I was like, oh my god.
Like I remember being like. Literally get like whiplash around those corners, but it was more than I remembered. It was fun. We laughed the entire time.
We laughed. It was fun. Like obviously the hills are really small. They're like what, maybe 30 feet max.
Yeah, it's like meant for kids, like
it's like
whole
very
families.
Family.
Yeah,
it's like a family ride. But you know, it was a little bit jerky. We got jerked around a lot. You got a little bit of air. We like when they do the tight turns, like you're getting like whiplash. Stop really fast at the end.
Fun overall, fun ride.
Honestly, a fun time.
As an adult, I was still like, this is fun.
I still had a fun time.
Yeah. And then we were dehydrated and we went and got a water bottle.
Dehydrated. Yeah. We went and got the water.
To share.
It was like, we need a water. Yeah.
And then we said, well, let's go on the corkscrew next.
Yeah. It's nearby. Let's get on that corkscrew.
Which was about half the wait, like maybe
33 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. I've recorded 33 minutes of wait
And it was
time.
strange because when you... I'm going to say this part and then we'll backtrack a little bit. But when you go on this... Sometimes when you go on roller coasters, everyone wants to go either on the front or the back. So, like, it's all, like, clogged.
Right.
And we, like, turned the corner and we're like, let's just go to the back because there was, like...
There's nobody there.
There was, like, 2 people waiting. So we went... We got on, like, pretty quick once we got up there.
Right away. There were, like, multiple, like, 3 groups at each other spot. And we were like, why don't we just go to the back?
Yeah.
Like, nobody's there. I don't really give a shit where I ride, you know?
But while we were waiting, there used to be... they're still there, but there used to be this wall where people would write... things on it.
Messages.
We saw one that said Sonny likes cheese in the butt.
In the butt, which we then repeated. I'm sure Mom and Aunt Linda were thrilled with us just saying Sonny likes cheese in the butt repeatedly. As children. Yep. I'm sure it was great for them.
Yeah.
But we did check. So the corkscrew used to be orange. I'm positive it was orange and some other color. Now it's blue. The walls are also painted blue, but Hannah and I did find a section that had 3 layers of peeled paint. So it was blue and then orange and then yellow. I believe it was yellow when we were there, to my knowledge.
I believe so.
Probably when the cheese butt incident occurred, was a yellow wall. But I took a picture of Hannah next to where we think the writing was on that wall, just to commemorate that experience.
Yeah. But yeah, the corkscrew is it's a like a double twist, kind of like upside down ride. With like a smaller hill. So you do get the bars that come over your head, over your shoulders. Yeah. And I locked mine in, and as someone who has larger boobs, I literally told Alyssa, I said I cannot take a full breath.
Hannah got crushed.
Like my boobs were like small. I couldn't take a full breath.
As someone who does not have large breasts, I had so much.
Alyssa's like, I have space.
I had so much space. Like it does not sit against my chest.
No.
Like, there is a gap where I'm like, I can move around.
Yeah, no, I was locked and loaded in there. We were in the complete back row.
We're in the very back.
And so.
Oh wait, I do have to go back 1 second. So I will say that line was way more shaded. We had a lot more shade in that ride. For a good portion, you're kind of like going up into it's a raised bed, like where you start is raised. And a few rides before Hannah and I got on, we were waiting outside, and all of a sudden we heard some weird noises. The cart had been stopped going uphill. There was like some like blaring alarms, and then we just heard people yelling, "Put your phone away! Put your phone away!" So some goddamn idiot had their phone out on an upside down ride.
Like to record,
that's the one thing. The one thing you do about roller coasters, you don't take your phone out on an upside down ride, because that's how. And again, the corkscrew goes over the people waiting in line.
That's how someone gets hit in the face. Yeah,
that's how someone gets hit in the face with a phone. Like, so they had to wait for some idiot. I'm sure it was some teenager probably. Put their phone away before that they then could restart the ride. And Hannah and I were like, all right. Yeah. I'm so happy, so thrilled. Anyway, I just wanted to interject that before.
I did forget about that.
Yes.
But yeah, overall, like, corkscrew's a really fun ride. It's a pretty quick ride, but like the loops are fun. Yeah. Not too big of a hill, but you go pretty fast. And So yeah, we get back to the area where you get out, and everyone's thing lifts, and I am stuck. And I'm like, I can't lift this. And the guy was like, okay, I'm going to need to get you to get out to Alyssa.
Yeah,
he had to, like, get in and, like,
Yeah.
do it a couple times to get it
open.
out. I'm like, no wonder I felt like I was dying
I
in
know.
there.
It was funny though, because I was standing in the ride and Hannah's like, I'm stuck. And
Yeah.
I just was like, this is so funny.
Yeah.
My note was, I wrote this note after I got off. Hannah got stuck trying to get out. It made me laugh.
Yeah.
That was my note, my first note.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like it's a good roller coaster for like all ages, because it's like you got the loops, so there's that fun, but
Yeah.
it's not like super hilly and it's not like
smooth.
super fast. It is smooth.
It's very
for being a
smooth.
ride from 1979.
It's smooth.
It's a smooth
Especially
ride.
compared to some of these other rides.
Yeah.
It's very smooth.
It's quick, but it is like I think it's still fun. You know, I obviously have not been on. We'd been on it as kids. That was a ride we enjoyed because again, it is a nice, easy ride. It's kind of reminds me of what's that one ride at Cedar Point that I would. It's pretty similar to that. Is it? Don't they also have a corkscrew?
I think they have a version of the corkscrew.
Yeah, I feel like it's very
Yeah.
similar to the corkscrew at Cedar Point, where it's just like an easy, like a nice, smooth, easy ride.
Right.
And obviously wasn't that long of a wait.
No.
But yeah, it was a solid time, you know?
Yeah.
We had a good time. I had a good time laughing at Hannah getting stuck in the ride.
Solid time.
Solid time. But then we got onto our third ride because we were like, well, why don't we do a water ride? Our initial plan was we were going to do all the water rides in the middle of the day. However, one of the rides was closed, and one of the other ones was pretty far back in the park. So we were like, let's hit up a couple rides that are in this section. So we did the Loggers Run,
Yes.
which is a log flume ride.
It's like the single log, like you can fit,
Yes.
I think probably 4 people,
Four,
but
maybe.
me and
Yeah.
Alyssa just went 2.
Yeah.
You sit
you just sit in it.
it's
There's
like
no
a bench.
bars.
There's no bars. I mean, there's
So-
bars on the sides.
Yeah. Hannah got little leg stoppers.
I did. I got
did
little
not.
feet
My
things.
legs were just kind of in there. Like
Yeah.
I had nowhere to put my feet. Hannah's like, "Oh, use your leg stoppers."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "I don't have those.
Yeah.
Like they're not up front."
Yeah, and you just go up a
Yeah.
hill. There was a guy at the top who was like messing around
Oh,
with
yeah.
us, a worker.
Yeah. He kept making like faces at us,
Yeah.
and then he asked us. He said, "You look scared." And he's like, "You should be."
Yeah.
We were laughing, and then he
Just
kept
having
looking at us
fun.
from a distance. So I would say the entrance was very shaded. Our wait time was about 35 minutes,
Yeah.
so about the same as the corkscrew. To my opinion, log rides are very hit or miss.
Yeah.
Like they're fun. Like obviously, like I have since been on Splash Mountain, not the new one, but the old one that was like the Briar Patch, like Song of the South inspired one. And like obviously there's animatronics and there's like a whole scene with it. So like log rides can be very fun. This is not that type of log ride. This is like we're just gonna run you on a course and there's no like theme. There's no actually there's a log theme.
You're supposed to pretend you're a lumberjack
Old
from like the 1800s.
You're a lumberjack, but there's no theming. There's no like decor. It's
Right.
just log run.
Yes.
But we got in our log. It was a little jostly, slightly bumpy.
Yeah.
It was obviously very smooth ride up to where our drop was. But Hannah and I were trying to decide what pose we were going to do because this ride has a camera.
Yeah.
So you know
We were
that was what
preparing.
we were preparing for our pose. So then we get to the hill. Hannah tells me, she said, oh, okay, the camera flashes about halfway down the hill. We were kind of pacing it out here. So
Right.
do your pose
Right.
at this
point, yes.
Yes.
I was
So,
ready.
Hannah was ready.
I
Until she
was
wasn't
ready, and then we hit the hill, and I kind of forgot, and I lost my pose, and my photo just ended up me like screaming.
Hannah looked so scared.
I was like-
she's looking to the side. She's like, ah!
Yeah.
Like she was like realized she didn't pose. I decided, I really thought about doing the millennial peace signs, double
Yeah.
peace sign, a real millennial staple. But I was like, you know what? We got to be a little more original. And I was wearing my sunglasses, so I hit a really serious like sunglass down pose, and I did nail it. I was successful.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Like, not even being like ironic, like
Yeah.
it was you definitely nailed
I hit
it.
the pose.
Yeah.
I learned from the best Tyra Banks.
Yeah.
I looked for my angle. I hit it. I held the
Obviously.
pose the whole time down. It was great.
Yeah.
Hannah looked silly. It was great.
Yeah.
Nice leisurely ride. It was pretty nice. We barely got wet. We got a little splash.
Yeah,
It
we were
was a
kind of
little
looking at the
refreshing.
people as they came off because they exit
Yeah.
like where you come on, and I was like, okay, they don't look bad.
Yeah.
At that point, we were both like very hot, so we're like,
We were
it was.
overheating.
I mean, it was nice though.
Yeah.
It was nice just to have like a chill ride
Yeah, I would
where
agree.
we just were kind of like, okay,
Yeah, we're
just
nice.
chilling.
But then while we were in line for the log plume, there was the Sea Dragon was right across the way. And we were like, that line's pretty short. What if we just went over there after the log plume and got on the Sea Dragon?
Yeah, which for those who don't know, it's basically this long, like, boat-shaped looking
it's like
thing.
Looks like a Viking
Yeah,
boat.
and it's like rows of, like, you can probably fit like 3-4 people on a row. It has like a lap bar, and you sit facing one way, and there's people facing you the other way. You can see people.
Yeah. It swings back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just goes like a pendulum, just back and forth,
Yes.
back and forth.
Yes.
We've been on variations of it.
Yeah, I've been on it before.
Right.
This one, we waited about 7 minutes. So we had to wait like one ride, and then we got right on. So that was nice. So our crowd...
We had the best group of people.
Yeah, we had a great crowd. So there was a small child behind us who was just screaming, "This is illegal.
Yeah.
This speed should be illegal." He was freaking out.
He was freaking out.
He was panicking.
Yeah.
He was panicking hard. There was a little small girl in front of us, just in a row by herself, and a small child who just disappeared. We just didn't see
There was a
him.
little boy on the other side where, like, at the end of the ride, he just popped out, and I was like, were you here the whole time?
He was here the whole time. Those kids were fine. They
were
were
chilling.
unaccompanied. They were, like, literally no noise out of them. Across from us, though.
The crown jewel of the ride.
The crown jewel. So there was a family.
Yes.
And these girls were screaming.
They were screaming.
Losing their minds.
They were with a man.
I would assume maybe their dad.
He was
or
probably
uncle
like in
or
his
something.
40s,
Yeah.
50s.
But he just pretended to be asleep the whole ride. He just slumped over. And
he also
and,
was like,
yeah.
he was like, oh no. Like, he was kind of panicking.
Yeah. For a second I was like, did this man actually faint? I'm like, no, he's just pretending. But there was also another group of girls behind them that were also freaking out. And honestly, them freaking out was just making Hannah and I laugh.
Like, I
We
would
just
say
laughed the whole time.
the crowd was more entertaining than the ride.
Yeah.
Because the ride is fun.
It's fine. Yeah.
Your stomach drops a bit, but like the
Yeah.
part that's so fun is when you're going like on the upswing,
Right.
those people are at the top, so
Yeah,
they're
they're
like
at the top,
screaming.
yeah.
And then when you come back down, so it's like fun to see the people.
Yeah. Honestly, it was
A
fun.
lot of these rides I'm ranking based off like the whole experience.
Right.
And so like part of it is like, yeah, that was entertaining. Like, we were laughing.
I will say that the experience elevated this ride in my ranking for me.
for sure.
I normally don't think I would place it like high.
I was surprised where mine ended up.
Yeah, it's pretty high up.
Mostly because of the entertainment factor.
Because of the entertainment factor.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was a quick little ride, a little and then I think it was before we got on, or it was before when we were waiting for our next ride, but the person operating the ride was like, "How was your ride?" "Fantastic."
Like, no one
the
answered.
most monotone voice possible, and it made us laugh. We were like, "Oh my god, this is great."
Yeah.
But then we were like, "Oh, let's hit up some more roller coasters on this side." So we went over to the Wolverine Wildcat, which is a relatively decent-sized wooden roller coaster.
Yeah.
We waited about 30 minutes, so again, about the same amount of time as the previous rides, but as we were walking up, I don't know what died, but it smelled like rotting cheese and vomit.
It was either like
it
someone
was so
threw
bad.
up or like...
A dead animal.
And the
or
man behind us was
something.
like, it must be the wood.
And I'm like, this rotting wood does not smell
No.
like this, sir. I'm like, no, it is not rotting wood. Like, something happened here.
A crime was
occurred.
committed.
It smelled so bad that when Hannah and I were on the ride, we could
We could
smell it
smell
passing
it.
that specific section. We could smell
Which
it.
is wild.
It's wild.
To be on a
We
roller
made
coaster
comment.
and be
We were
able
like,
to
oh my
smell
god, it's the smell. I said, quote, "The smell of cheese and vomit was unpleasant."
Yeah.
That was my comment. But anyway, we get in line, again, 30 minutes. This one also, like, no shade. It was like direct heat, sunlight. And you're only in shade like that, like the last bit before you get right on the ride. My comments were the sun during the wait was rough, smell of cheese and vomit was unpleasant, but then we get on the ride.
Yeah.
So we're on, it's again a lap bar.
Yeah, and honestly, I couldn't remember much about this ride. But you go through like a dark tunnel at the beginning.
Yeah, you start in the like pitch black dark tunnel.
Right.
Yeah, which I had forgotten about. And I
Yeah,
was like, oh, that's kind of fun.
and then you like
know?
go up like the biggest hill, go
Right.
down it. There's a couple more hills, a couple turns, a little
some
bit
turns.
jerky.
A little jerky. The ride had a nice like good drop to start. Like, I
Yeah,
thought
it was
a pretty
more
fun
hilly than I
drop.
thought it was
Yeah.
gonna be, which
Than I remembered.
Yeah.
But kind of like a circular loop, I would say. A little bit jerky. It definitely like we got jerked around a little bit.
yeah,
it was fun.
it was fun.
Fun one roller coaster. I
Yeah.
had a fun time.
Good
you know.
time.
Yeah. And then we were like, oh, well, since we're over and already doing wooden roller coasters, why don't we go over to Shivering Timbers?
I had been excited the whole time because I had read that they had made ride improvements and that the ride was very smooth now.
So they apparently made ride improvements this year. So 2024 leading into 2025. Repaired to smooth out some of the rougher sections of the track.
Yeah.
And we were like, wow, that's great.
Fantastic.
Hannah, our wait time, 15 minutes.
15, or like, oh, there's no one in line.
Yeah. It was like no line at all. We got right on. I was reliving the memories of being thrown up on from above by a small redheaded child. It was truly the worst. But anyway, this was maybe, hypothetically, we maybe put some microphones on inside our shirts, and maybe I pressed record on my phone, hypothetically speaking, of course.
Yeah.
And I put my phone in my pocket and hypothetically maybe just put my hand over my pocket to make sure it didn't fall out, as I did not. We, I should also say, we carried little small backpacks with us that mostly all the rides had the little cubbies you could put them in.
So you didn't have to worry
about normally
it.
I was putting my phone in the cubby, like, with my backpack, but in this case I was like, well, hypothetically, if we were going to perhaps do something with a phone that didn't include video, maybe I would want it on me. So we get in, we get our lap bars on, get ready to go. We go up that first hill. There's a group of rowdy, like, kind of like smaller boys behind us that seemed like they were just like living at the park. They seemed to know the people.
They knew like all the employees and
so I'm sure they were just like maybe, I don't know, local kids or somebody who, spend a lot of time, spend their whole summer there maybe. But we're going up, and that first hill's pretty high up,
It's big.
You go up for like a good, 20 seconds up, something like that. I was asking Hannah how she was doing. She was telling me she's looking at a fixed point.
I can't look off to the sides, but because Alyssa's like, oh, there's our car over there, and I was like,
I can
I'm
see
not
our
gonna
car,
look.
and I was like, oh, there it is. I can see it from here. That aspect doesn't bother me. Like, I can look around. I'm fine if I'm restrained with heights. It's more unrestrained heights that make me like a little nervous.
Yeah.
But then we go down the hill.
Yeah.
That first half. Still very fun.
First half is really fun.
First half.
Because
I was floating. So when I was little, I used to float going down the hills just because you don't weigh enough to hold you down.
Right.
And I still was doing that. I was surprised. I was like, oh, I'm still floating as an adult? Okay.
The first the first half, because most of those hills are still decent size. Like, you go down the first one, you still have a decent sized second one and a third one, and then you hit the curve. And that's when I realized that the improvements maybe made it worse.
It was rough.
It was like your whole brain,
your
brain feels like it's like shaking back and forth.
It was so rocky. We were getting jostled.
Yeah.
Like, painfully jostled.
Oh, yeah.
Some whiplash.
Yep.
Hannah was saying ow, like,
yeah. And then you start going down these mini hills.
Yeah.
And each one's worse than the one before.
And it's just like,
and I said, oh, Jesus, at one point.
You did say, oh, Jesus.
I said, oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you how much pain I was in. And I literally, the only ride that I was like, this needs to stop now.
Yeah, Hannah was like, we gotta get off
and then
this.
you go down around another curve and you're being shaken.
And then they take a photo. And
then they take a photo and Alyssa had her eyes closed. I looked like I was dying.
Yeah, I forgot they took a photo on the ride. Or maybe they started doing that. I don't remember them doing that.
The ride ends and I'm like, this was horrible. The person behind us said my head hurts. And I was like, and we said, we understand why the line was so short because no one wants to go again.
So here's my thing, right? I think the problem is if I was looking only at that first half of the ride, it would be very high. Like, maybe first on the list.
Definitely
but
top 3.
I have to take in that second half. Take a count.
It's the Wall-E.
Yeah, it's the
rides.
Wall-E. It's the Wall-E effect.
First
right?
half great.
It is the
second half.
the Wall-E effect.
You got to get through.
Yeah, like, you have to kind of judge, like, and I think we possibly might have it in different spots in our list solely based on the experience of comparing the first half to the second half. You have to weigh what the pros and cons are. Because I think you obviously probably got more pain from it than I did.
I felt like I was literally dying.
But that's also because you have, bionic hips.
I have janky hips that were being rattled around.
So you were getting really rattled.
Yes.
So while I was in pain, I don't think it was not like... I think just the inclusive, like, riding rides all day, like, the next morning when I woke up, I was like, oh, I'm so stiff. I was so stiff. But I think that was just, like, collectively riding rides. Again, because I haven't been on a roller coaster in 12 years. Like, my body is not the same as I was in my youth. But yeah, so then we got on that ride, and it was rough, and we were like, okay, we need, like, a soft nice time. So we
Yeah.
went and did some of the more like small kind of like children-y rides.
More
We did
like
a
what
little
you
spring
consider
of
like
that.
fair rides, I would say.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
carnival fair rides. So we went on one called the Thunderbolt.
Yeah.
Which I would say is pretty similar to like the Matterhorn.
Yeah.
But like in a hanging
It's
cart.
like, and I went to get on. There are these little like hanging like carts,
yeah, they hang
and they
from the
kind
above.
of go back
Yeah.
and forth. And I went to
Yeah.
get on, and I like fell into it.
Hannah fell into the cart.
And I was
It
like,
funny.
okay.
You just like ate shit into
Yeah.
the cart.
But yeah, so we sat in
Yeah.
it together, and it like basically
It
just
was-
goes around in
yeah.
a circle.
We had a wait time of 2 minutes, so like
Yeah.
we pretty much got right on
Right.
it, and yeah, it pretty much goes like in like it just like kind of loops and goes in a circle and picks up speed, and you kind of like float a little bit.
You're right.
And a nice Southern man was asking us if we were having a good time and if we wanted to go faster. I can't
wanna
hear
go
you.
faster?
You want to go faster?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
having a good time.
honestly,
Yeah.
after the Shivering Timbers, I was like,
it was pretty
this is
leisurely.
pleasant.
You know, it was a nice, pleasant.
it was a,
like,
a good breeze.
It's a nice breeze, you know. It wasn't like an exciting ride,
No.
but it was a nice breeze. You know?
Thrill
I was like,
level-
this isn't- yeah.
I told Alyssa thrill level is like just like a
two.
straight face, like
Yeah,
little
like
smirk.
Yeah, like
I would say though, like
yeah, just relaxing.
kind of the ride we needed at that moment.
Yeah, just to kind of chill out from Shivering Timbers. So we did the Thunderhawk, you know, and
Yeah.
it was fine. And then we were like, cool, let's go on the Tilt-A-Whirl.
Yeah.
Again, about 2 minute wait time. We pretty much just like walked right on.
Yeah.
And Hannah and I get in, and Hannah immediately was like, she's the man.
Yeah. I always
you
think
know,
of
'cause- yeah.
Dirty Little Secret, I think is the song that's playing.
It's
Or no.
it's Forever by the Veronicas.
Yes.
It's playing during the
Da
carnival
da
scene. Yeah.
da da da. Yeah. When she's like changing and then the mustache is on the
Yeah.
little kid. That's all I can ever
Yeah.
think of.
That's Hannah was bringing that
You
up.
know, a lot
They
faster than I thought
whip
it was
you.
gonna be.
They like can really whip.
Because
you
at
in
first
those
I was like,
things.
oh, this is fine.
Yeah.
And then you hit like the momentum of a curve and
Yeah.
you get like
You get like
thrown.
whipped. It was kind of fun.
It
you
was
know?
fun. It was more fun than I
yeah.
think it was more fun than I thought it was gonna be. So like my expectations were
more
like
fun than I remember it being.
Right.
Yeah. So it was fun. You know,
Yeah.
we had a good time. We were laughing. We were getting whipped around. It was fun.
Yeah.
Smooth. It was pretty smooth. You know, all things considered, considering it's as old as you are.
Yeah.
Pretty smooth.
yeah.
And then we were like, cool. Well, we got to finish it off with the Scrambler,
Yeah.
a staple of our childhood.
Yeah.
Hannah and I often would ride the Scrambler with our mom.
Yes.
And as you know, if you've been on a Scrambler, you put the heaviest person on the outside, who's always our
outside.
mom.
Yes.
Which meant that we would just crush her.
Because
slam into
the way
her.
it works is like it's these little carts and you're kind of just getting
Yeah.
like thrown back and
Yeah.
forth, so the
They basically,
momentum carries
right.
the person in the inside towards the outside.
to the outside. Basically, the momentum like
Right.
pushes you. Yeah, the gravitational force.
Right.
Hannah.
So I put on the
pushes you
I
out.
went on the outside because I'm like
did.
I'm a little bit bigger than you. I should be on the outside, which I think maybe impacts where our rankings might be because. Alyssa tried her best. I know she did to hold her place.
Try
to hold her
up.
place.
I really tried.
At the
Like, I
end, she
didn't-
kind of just
yeah.
like was like, "I'm just gonna stick right here, so I don't move
Yeah.
as much."
Yeah, like I will say it was very fun for me to slam into
Yeah.
Hannah, but I did actively try to not
Right.
slam into Hannah.
And you
I
know,
gave it my best college.
It was
try.
like the thing of when in the summer when you wear shorts and you kind of get stuck to the seat.
to the seat,
It was
like
like
a leathery
my
seat.
thigh kept being like pinched underneath, and it was
yeah.
like it was fun, but at the same time I was actively aware of the fact that like
Yeah, that you were
every
getting
time we went
pinched.
on a curve, I was like,
Yeah.
okay,
Pipe
prepared.
It's pinched.
But yeah, overall like still a fun ride.
Nice pleasant ride. I had a lovely time just because it was the same as I remembered
Yeah.
it because I was not on the outside.
Yeah.
But I can imagine getting crushed is maybe not the best. thing.
Changes things. Yeah, and at that point we went to the bathroom.
Yes. And I think we got a Powerade around
we had
this time too.
they only carried Coca-Cola products. Every single
Yes.
drink station was like cups with lids.
Cup. Yeah.
Like
And
a
we're
paper
we're gonna
cup,
get-
and I'm like,
yeah.
I want something I can put a lid on so
bottle.
we can put it in our backpack.
Yes.
So we went to the first machine; they were sold out.
Of
We
everything.
went to everything because
Yeah.
there was the red and the blue Powerade. We're like, we can take either one. Nope, sold out of both. We went to the
Yes.
next machine, same thing.
Yep.
Sold out of both.
Sold
we
out.
finally found a machine. We got ourselves a red Powerade, which honestly came in clutch because
It was honestly exactly what we needed.
I think
at
we were
that
both
time.
dehydrated
Yeah,
at that
feeling a
point.
little dehydrated.
It was getting very warm out. We did say we decided not to do the water park rides just because we didn't have the time.
Yes.
But it would have been a very good day to go to the water park.
There were, I think, the reason why we had so little waits,
Well,
like
'cause a lot
in
of people went to the
midday
water
is
park.
because a lot of people went to the
Yeah.
water park. So we obviously have been to the water park, and they have a
Yes.
lot of water slides. They have like one of the funnels. They have like tube rides. They have just like body rides. And we've done that before, but we specifically wanted to focus on like the theme park rides.
Yes.
And we did do 2 more water rides, but the ones you could technically do enclosed.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
We skipped the full water park, but it would have been a nice day for it.
Yeah. So at that point, we were a bit dehydrated,
Yes.
a bit getting tired, a bit.
Mm-hmm.
No, I wasn't really hungry yet.
I wasn't hungry yet either.
But we were like, we had passed by the Lakeside Flyer.
Glider?
Glider.
Lakeside Flyer? Lakeside Glider?
I think it's Glider.
I think it's Glider. Yes, I think it's Lakeside
Okay.
Glider. Yeah.
Which Alyssa had mentioned was the only new ride that had been there since the Thunderhawk. So we had
Yes.
the new ride that we had never been on.
Yes, this is the only ride of the park we've never been on before.
And they're basically like these planes that go up in the air and fly, but you can also you have a winged thing, like a
Yeah.
sailboat, almost like a sailboat.
It's kind of like a swinging swing,
Right.
but you're in a little boat, and
Yes.
you can change your direction
Yeah.
with an air almost like a sailboat or
Right.
like a
And we probably had like a 5-minute wait, 6.
I said about 5 minutes
Because we
a
were
5-minute wait.
we had to wait for like one group before us to
Yes.
get loaded on.
Right, because children wanted to go by themselves.
Yeah.
We went together, and I would say for 2 adults, I would say it was a little bit of a tight fit.
Tight
for 2
squeeze.
adults,
I did go to get on, and I grabbed the part that moves and
Yeah,
almost
you did.
ate shit again.
Again,
so
almost ate shit
not very
again.
good at getting on rides, I've discovered.
And it is and honestly, it was a nice little pleasant ride. Again, kind of similar to like the Thunderbolt in the sense of like you can kind of control your little cart around. It was a nice smooth ride. Like you kind of fly around. It was new for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a nice little.
It was
nice little ride.
definitely like
Smooth.
refreshing. I would say it's definitely, I think, geared more towards children.
Yes, I would agree.
But
yeah.
overall, like a decent ride. I mean, you do get a little bit of like a nice spin on some of those.
Nice breeze. Like it felt cool for for being
and
hot,
not like
you know.
too tall where I felt like afraid as someone who doesn't like heights. Like I was not aware
Yes.
of the height, so it wasn't an issue.
Right.
But overall, like I would say a fun ride. I feel like for kids it's really fun because you get to like.
I think
there's like an
as
interactive
kids,
element.
we would have liked it. I think it
Right.
would have been fun for us to go on.
Right.
But then at that point we had 2 of our water rides left, and one had reopened. So the rapids were closed earlier in the day. So
We
were
should
able to
also
do that.
say, at this point, the Thunderhawk, one of the
Yes.
roller coasters, had been closed all day.
all day.
So we were kind of
basically-
waiting to see what would
we
happen.
periodically would check. Hannah had like an app that
Yes.
had like ride statuses, so we periodically check, and we'd also could see it from the distance just to see if they're running it. And at this
Yeah.
point, still had not been running. So
But we made our way
yeah.
to the water rides, and
we did
we went on Adventure Falls first,
Adventure,
which is a
Fall
giant. It's like a
first.
giant log flume, but it's just like one big cart.
It's like one big boat.
Yes.
It's like a big boat, and all it does is it just goes uphill and then downhill and splashes.
And-
it has like one of those bridges where people can
Right.
stand on and get splashed.
And it was like every
you know,
single person was wearing their bathing suit, and I was like,
except for us.
"You're not gonna get that wet." Okay.
Yeah.
We got pretty wet.
We got soaking wet.
Yeah.
So we waited about 5 minutes.
Yep.
We got right on. We sat in the back. Not the far back because there was people behind us, but we had one of the most annoying group of teenage boys I've had
Yes.
the displeasure of sitting behind.
Yes.
They were just like I wrote some of the things they said. So they were saying, quote, "If you get wet, you love femboys. I love femboys. I love touching little kids.
Yeah.
I'm so wet," screaming. It was some
really-
amount of that the entire time.
They really went with the wet joke and just
Yes.
And
And
this,
this was
ride
like-
was very short.
This ride was maybe 2 minutes max.
Yeah.
Like, by the time we got on the ride, got off the ride, about 2 minutes.
But-
and Hannah and I were like, we gotta get
Yeah.
off this ride.
But honestly, the hill was pretty fun. I will say it was very refreshing.
It was refreshing.
I
We
was
got
very warm.
Really wet. Yeah,
Yeah.
we got pretty wet.
Yeah.
Like the boys said.
We
you know.
did.
really did.
And then we're like, well, we're already wet. Let's go on the Grand Rapids, which is like the giant tube. It's like a big circle. You sit around.
You kind of go in like a little river.
Yeah, it's like a
lazy river
rapids.
flow, and they usually have rapids and a waterfall. And
Right.
Like, you know.
So because there was only 2 of
yeah.
us, we got seated with a group of 4. It was like 2 women and 2 children.
Yeah, and I don't think they knew that we were gonna be in their
No.
parks. They really just like so we waited 20 minutes, so we had a bit of a wait for this
Yeah.
one. And then Hannah and I go to get in, and they're just like blocking the way. And
the lady's
sitting
like,
right in
oh,
front
I
of
didn't
us.
realize you were going to be with us, but then
Yeah.
just didn't move.
I know, and I was like, the lady told us to join the group.
And I also
She was
had to, like-
'cause- yeah.
I had to weirdly climb over them to put our
Yeah, you
bags
had
on the
to
other
climb-
side.
And I'm like, just move to the right.
Yeah.
Like what do you do? Anyway, because we took our shoes off. So
Yeah.
Hannah and I kind of clocked. I clocked, people kept taking their shoes off.
Right.
People were wearing, like, not flip-flops or, like, Crocs. If they were wearing, like, tennis shoes, they
were
kept
taking
taking
them
them off. And there was, like, a barrel where everyone was putting their stuff
Yeah.
in. So I was like, hey, I think we should take off our shoes.
And I was
I had brought extra socks, but I was like,
Yeah.
I feel like this is a ride where we're going to get wet feet.
And I've always, like, loved the Grand Rapids rides, like, those
Yeah,
versions.
they're
And I
fun.
was like,
Yeah.
I feel like we're not getting that wet. Like, you know.
The ride is what, like maybe 3 minutes long?
Yeah, and I was like, we're really
3 to
not
5
getting
minutes.
wet. And then we
Yeah.
hit the waterfall part, and,
Oh
like,
my
they
God.
heard us say, like, you didn't think you were going to get wet. And me and
Yeah.
Alyssa literally turned
Oh my God.
under the waterfall.
We turned under the water and got the brunt of, like,
Soaking
straight
wet.
down water. Soaking wet. Wet t-shirt contest, like, we would have won.
Oh, yeah.
Like, my hair was soaked.
Right.
My shirt, full body,
Which-
like completely soaked.
Which our original plan to do the water rides all
Yeah.
earlier probably would have been okay, but at this point
Yes.
it was getting close to like 5 o'clock.
And also, this ride had been closed
Yeah.
earlier, so we
And
were not
we
able
were
to do our
both very soaking wet.
Yeah. And it was like the rapids were pretty light. Like, yeah, there was very little splashing, very little water. Like, because I feel like we've been on some of those rapids where, like, you go down and
When you
people
go
get
down, the water
splashed.
comes
Yeah.
over, yes.
So there really wasn't a lot of splashing other than getting blasted by a waterfall. So at that point, we are soaking wet, and we're like, cool, let's go get food now. So then we did all of our food soaking wet. We dried off slightly. Then we got in the car, still wet.
Yep.
Drove home, still wet.
Yeah, I
Got
borrowed
here,
clothes.
Hannah borrowed some clothes. I took mine off. I put them out to dry on a drying rack and then put them in my hamper once they were dry. Yeah, that was our day. So we unfortunately did not get to ride the Thunderhawk.
No, it was
because
closed all day.
It was closed the entire day.
Yep.
We didn't even see a test run.
Yep.
There was no carts going. But because we've ridden the Thunderhawk before, we did decide to include it in our ranking
Yeah.
list. We're just going off of memory of like what we remember from it. Because I like, obviously I don't remember the entire like route of the roller coaster, but I remember like it's like you're hanging, you've got like obviously the overhead, there's some loops, there's some, thrills.
Right.
I remember enough to like be able to like relatively accurately rank.
Yeah.
But obviously like it's not of today, so I took that into account
Right.
in my ranking.
I also want to say, like, the only rides we really skipped were the rides geared more for kids, with the exception,
Yes.
well, kind of, because I
Yeah.
remember them being bigger, but the exception of, like, the chairs where you sit in a chair and fly around,
Yeah.
although a bit smaller, but we figured the flying, the
The
lakeside
gliders,
glider was
yeah.
similar.
Similar
We
to the
also
chairs.
skipped one that was kind of, like, similar to the, like, Scrambler and the Thunder.
Oh, yeah.
bolts
it's like
where
the
you kinda just
a
go
circle one
around.
that spins. We also skipped so Zach Zoomer is
Yes.
a little wooden roller coaster, and the Woodstock Express is even
Which
even
are a lot more
smaller.
geared for kids.
Yeah. And we decided, like, we'll just skip those because we're already doing some of the, like, we supplemented in some of those smaller, like, Tilt-A-Whirl, Thunderbolt
Yes.
type rides.
We also
to kind
skipped
of fill
the Ferris wheel because
in. Hannah refuses.
I
yeah.
also, like, what was the point?
Yeah, we did skip a Ferris wheel because it was not necessary.
It also would have been last on my list.
Yeah.
So.
Hannah, yeah, she did one 3 years ago, and that is enough for a decade. So you're,
Maybe my whole life.
yeah. Anyway,
You know.
you got it covered in one.
So
day,
anyways,
so
we ended up with 12 rides total.
13 plus
13
Thunderhawk
with
for
the
ranking.
Thunderhawk, yes.
But 12, we ended up riding an entire day. We got 12 rides in. Pretty good. We went everything one time. We also had time for eating, and we left the park early. We did not stay for the entire like park.
I think we left
Yeah.
around
It was like
6:30ish, 6 or 6:30. Yeah.
Actually, I can look when I took a photo of us leaving the park.
Okay.
So let me see what time I took that photo
gonna
at.
say.
I took that photo at 6:12. So
Okay.
yeah, left the park around right after 6 o'clock. So
Yes.
we were there for almost 8 hours, right about 8 hours. So
Yeah, and we got to
yeah.
go on everything we wanted to go
yeah,
on.
minus the Thunderhawk, but we couldn't
Right.
go on it because it wasn't open.
Right, but we
Nothing
would have had
could have done
time.
about that. Yes,
We would have had
if,
time.
if it was open, we would have had time to do
Like
everything
we
wanted
didn't
to do.
we wouldn't have run out of time to do all the rides.
Yeah. What I can say is just as like having as we have gone to both the water park and the amusement park, it's
Yeah.
often a park that you can do both. Like you can ride rides
Right.
and go to the water park, and you can have time to do all of that stuff.
Because we used to
Like,
do
yeah,
both.
we used to do that. Like
Yeah.
obviously, I don't think you could do all 12 rides plus all the rides at the water park in one day necessarily. Like on a busy day.
Yeah.
But you can definitely do like hit everything you want.
Well,
to
and
in
there's a
one
lot of
go.
those rides that like I wouldn't have needed to go on.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
I
yeah.
would agree. So, it was fun. I had a good time. Having not been to an amusement park in 10 years,
Yeah.
a decade.
No, overall
plus.
like a good time.
was a good time.
Good
I
time.
was exhausted. I slept really well.
I mean,
Yeah.
and Michigan Adventure is not, like, huge. I think we ended up walking, I think my phone said, like,
3 miles.
3 miles, so
Yeah.
not, like, crazy, but yeah, it was
Yeah.
definitely a long day, and
Yeah.
yeah.
In the sun. It was hot. But yeah, honestly, pretty fun. I had
Yeah.
a good time. You know, all things considered, fun time.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to go back and forth on our rankings. Since we already discussed all the rides, we'll just run through them.
Yeah.
Number 13, I went with the Thunderbolt.
Okay.
I think it's just I think the problem I have is that it's a very, like, low thrill ride. It was nice. It was pleasant, I'm not going to lie. It was a nice little breezy ride, but I probably wouldn't go back on it.
That's fair.
As an adult, at least.
Yeah. Number 13, I put Adventure Fall,
Okay.
and that's solely because I, like, could not wait to get off that ride.
Yeah.
I was like, these boys are driving me fucking insane.
Yeah.
Like, I hate It was mainly a reinforcing of why I hate teenage
Yeah.
boys. Because they just frankly are offensive
Yeah.
in a way that's not funny.
No.
So that's why, and also because we got, like, soaking wet, and it was like, all right, it was refreshing, but for the experience, 13.
Yeah. Number 12, I went with the Lakeside Glider. I think it was fun, and I think I get the appeal of it, but again, I think it's more geared towards children. I think if I had ridden this ride as a kid, I probably would have ranked it higher. But I think for an adult, it's like, it's fun, but I definitely not a ride that I feel like I need to go on again.
Yes. Number 12, I have the Thunderbolt. And I agree. Like, it was a nice, pleasant ride, but it's not something I ever really see myself needing to go on or, like, going out of my way to go on. Like, it is a perfectly fine, smooth ride, but I feel like it's definitely, like, a more of, like, a younger child ride.
It's also not like the, like, Matterhorn at Cedar Point where you go, like, backwards and forwards. And, like,
And
I think
they
that
play
one's a little bit more
music and
fun
stuff.
because that
Yeah.
one's a little bit more. But yeah. Okay, number 11, I put Adventure Falls. It was very refreshing, but like Alyssa said, it was just like the whole experience was just like, bleh. A very quick ride, and honestly, it's just one hill. Like, at least the log ride, you go back and forth, and you get to see things. This one, you literally go up and down, and then you're done.
Yeah.
So.
Number 11, I have the Lakeside Gliders. Yeah, I think it was, like, a very smooth, like, nice ride, but again, I think it's a bit more, like, if we went on it as kids, I think it would have been fun for us to do then, but again, like, it's very much, it feels like a family and a kid's ride. Like, I don't need to go on it as an adult, after this one time I've done it.
This might be controversial.
Okay.
Number 10, I put
Timbers?
Shivering Timbers.
Okay, I figured.
Solely because I literally was in so much pain.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever experienced that much pain on a ride. On something that's supposed to be fun. I will say, like, it's so hard to rank because if I was just ranking the first half, it would be in my top 3. Mm-hmm. But the fact that the second half, and it was the only ride where I was like, I want to get off this ride, had no desire to go back on it again, I think that I had to put it lower.
That's fair.
It was hard, though. I kind of went back and forth.
Yeah. I figured, based on your experience, it'd probably be pretty low on your list.
Yeah.
We'll see it again at some point.
Yes.
Number 11, I have the Grand Rapids. So, this is more so for our experience than necessarily that ride itself. It is a perfectly fine ride. This one particularly doesn't really have a lot going on in terms of scenery and, like, stuff. And, you know, I remember the one at, I think it's at Dollywood, you can get water shooters, so people shoot water
at you
from, like, outside the ride. Like, they have, like, water guns and, like, water cannons, and I think that's really fun when you add that element of people that can shoot water at you and get you wet.
Yeah.
And the fact that it was, like, nothing happened except for that waterfall, and we got, like, blasted with water.
Yes.
Like, it was just, like, absolutely just getting, like, poured on in 1 second, and then the ride was done.
Yeah.
So, like, those rides can be very fun, but that one specifically was just, like, fine.
Yeah.
For me.
Okay, we are on 9, right?
9, yeah.
9, and solely, again, for a pain factor, I went with the Scrambler.
Okay.
Again, a fun ride. Really enjoy it. It's still fun as an adult, but I think my thigh being pinched made it less pleasurable ride.
That's fair.
A big factor for these rankings is how much did I enjoy it. Yeah.
And the pain
levels. And I would say,
yeah.
overall, though, a fun ride, just, again, the pain factor. If I had, like, been on it by myself, or if I had been on it, like, in a way where you don't get crushed, I would say, like, maybe a little bit higher, but, yeah.
I think that's fair. Number 9, I went with the Tilt-A-Whirl. So this ride I think is fun. it's pretty smooth. You know, like Hannah and I had a fun time, but I think my problem is that it's very like sporadic. Like when you're not getting whipped, you're just kind of sitting there.
Yeah.
So it's like very much just like waiting for your cart to get whipped. Like when you get whipped, it is fun. Like it is a fun ride, but it is just kind of sporadic throughout. So it's like it's solid, but again, like it's not like full thrill ride.
Yeah. Number 8, I went with the Loggers Run. I think overall, like a fun ride. It definitely was nice to have like employee, like the guy messing around with us.
Yeah.
It was kind of just nice, honestly, to be up at the top and just being like, oh, you can see the whole park. And like the hill was fun. The pose obviously didn't work out too well for me.
Yeah.
But overall, it was nice. It was nice. It was our first water ride. First time I really felt like I was like cooled down a little bit.
Yeah.
But just I think in terms of like a thrill factor, it's not really that much of a thrill ride.
Yeah. I also have number 8 as Loggers Run, so we finally have a match. I agree. I think it was a very pleasant ride. Like, it was kind of when it started to get hot, so it was nice to kind of get a little water. The employee interaction, like, it was fun. The guy at the top was just having fun. Like, the group after us, he stopped them at the hill and then let them go. He didn't do that for us, but, like, just, like, fun interaction. The pose is fun, especially because Hannah just, like, completely messed it up.
Blew it.
It was just, a nice little fun time, you know? It was pretty solid. Like, it's a nice, easy, like, kind of like relaxing ride. Like it'd be nice to do like in between some of the more like roller coaster rides, I think.
Yeah. Number 7, I did the Tilt-A-Whirl. I was pleasantly surprised. Like Alyssa said, it's really fun when you're getting like whipped around really fast, but there are points where you're kind of just like going in a circle. But overall, I enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to enjoy it, and I think that moved it higher up in my list.
Yeah, that's very fair. Number 7, I have the Scrambler. So Scrambler, just like nostalgia factor. I like that was always such a fun ride for us, and obviously I had a good time crushing Hannah. But it is again like it is like in constant movement, so I think it's a little bit more like thrilling than the Tilt-A-Whirl is, just because you're constantly going and slamming into people. But it's like it's a Scrambler.
I do think the Scrambler is more fun when you have other people in different carts, because I remember when we used to go with all of our cousins, we would like make faces at each other and stuff when you pass by each other.
Yeah.
So I think it's more fun when you have more people on it.
I would agree, when you've got a lot of people on it. That's very fair.
Okay, number 6, I went with the Grand Rapids. I've always liked those sort of rides, even since, like, ever since I was a kid, I liked them. I think I will say, like, most of it was just kind of like, oh, this is fun, but not necessarily that much of a thrill. The part with, like, the waterfall getting soaked was, like, unexpected, and I kind of, like, I could see it coming, but right before, so kind of that, like, oh, shit. And a little weird riding with a group of people who, like, were like, oh, you guys are on the ride with us? And I'm like, we didn't pick it.
Yeah, like they told us to come. They told
we were also standing behind them for like 5 minutes. So
like the lady even said like I need a group of 2 or 3.
Right.
And then we were like we're a group of 2 or 3. And they're like okay, go stand in this line. And we said okay, great. And then they were like oh. Yeah. And I'm like
it was just weird.
Okay, great.
But yeah, I would say like mid pack for me.
Yeah. Number 6, I have the Sea Dragon. So this is my highest non-roller coaster ride from the park. It was so entertaining.
It was.
Like, the people on that ride, like, we were laughing the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, it's fun because you do, like, you go back and forth. There's a little bit of, like, a drop, like, it's fun in that aspect. But really, it's the people really make or break that ride. And we had a really entertaining, fun group. So, I had a really good time on it.
Yeah, I put number 5 as a Sea Dragon. I said it sounded like a horror film at one point because everyone was just screaming, like, bloody murder and... Yeah. The ride itself is fun, but definitely the group of people. Like, if we had been with a bunch of people who were just kind of, like, straight-faced, I don't think it would have been as much fun.
It wouldn't have been as fun.
But hearing people screaming for some reason is so funny to me, especially in that context where it's, like, it's not, like, a dangerous situation. We were laughing. It was like, chaos in the best way. Yeah. And then when we ended and the guy was, like, fantastic.
Yeah, he's like how was the ride? Fantastic.
I think 5.
All right. Number 5, I have the Wolverine Wildcat. So part of why this is low is because of the disgusting smell. Like, that really was off-putting. Like, we got in line, it was like, oh my god. Like, and then again, when we were getting towards the end of the ride, we smelled it again.
Yeah.
It's a fun ride. Like, it's a wooden roller coaster, and it's pretty decent size. Like, the tunnel is nice. It's like a pretty decently good-sized roller coaster. It's fun, a good fun time.
Yeah, Number 4, I did this mostly because of memory, Thunderhawk.
Okay.
I can't fully remember, and I think I've only been on it like once or twice because I didn't go on it the first couple times. I wasn't like a huge roller coaster fan.
Didn't go on it initially.
So I was trying to remember it, and it didn't feel fair to put it in my top 3 without like truly remembering the ride.
Yeah,
but I remember it being fun. I remember it being like different than a lot of the rides there because it was new. It was more of like the modern like Cedar Point rides you would go
like
on.
It's hanging too.
Right. Yeah. But just for the fact that I didn't think it was fair to put it higher without fully remembering the ride. I put it
That's
4.
very fair.
Yeah.
Number 4, I have Mad Mouse. This ride is just so fun. Like, it is not a like thrilling ride in the sense like there's not like big drops, there's not like, you know, it's not like a huge ride, but it just like it's very fun to get like whipped around the corners. Like, it's a quick ride, it's fun because you're in a little mouse cart. It's nostalgia from being a kid and going on it and liking the ride, and it was like a good way to start the day. Like, we just had fun on it, so it had to be up high. Mad Mouse is number 4.
Yeah, I put Mad Mouse as number 3. It's like Alyssa said, it's fun. It's fun for I think all ages. We did forget to talk about this when we were waiting in line. Me and Alyssa both happened to look up at the same time, and this like teenage boy was going down the hill, and he made this like horrifying face, like, and it was like truly horrifying. But yeah, it's fun. It didn't seem that big, but it still was like when you're at the top part, you're just laughing the whole time. Yeah. I will say the one thing that takes it down a little bit for me is that there's always a super long line.
Yes, I will agree.
But overall, like a good way to start out, a really solid start, and it kind of set the tone for like our day. Yeah. So
you know, that is a good point in that it is like it was for us an hour wait, and that's the longest we waited for.
It was pretty much almost double every other ride.
Every other wait time. Yeah. So, number 3, I have Shivering Timbers. And so for me, I think I would put Shivering Timbers in the same category that I'd put the Maverick from Cedar Point. If you've never been on the Maverick, it's like a relatively newer, like, I mean, within the last, like, 15 years. But it is a, like, you're not supposed to have, like, cartilage piercings in. You're not supposed to wear earrings. Like, you get jostled. But it is a fun ride. And so that's kind of how I see Shivering Timbers. Like, that first half of the ride is very fun. Mm-hmm. Like, it is a fun up, down, up, down. It's very thrilling. It's very fun. The second half, like, rattles you out of your skin. Like, your bones are breaking in those seats. But it's still fun. Like, I had a good time on it. If it was just that first half, it'd probably be number 1. Yeah. But because the second half exists, it had to be number 3. Seemed like the appropriate place to put it. Yeah.
Number 2, I went with Wolverine Wildcat. I really enjoyed it, and I didn't really remember it. I will say I thought this the smell almost added to the experience because it's like when you think of roller coasters, when you think of amusement parks, you think of like people throwing up.
I mean, I'd hope not, but
Well, and I think of like Roller Coaster Tycoon where people like vomited all the time, and so it was almost added to the experience. It just was really funny because when we were on the ride and we could smell that part, we were like, oh my god,
it was bad.
Yeah, it was, you know, it's pretty fast. It's a little bit jerky, but nothing like Shivering Timbers.
Yeah, not as bad as that.
I think we also got locked in on that one.
A little bit. We did get a little locked in.
Yeah, our bar.
For a brief bit, yeah.
But yeah, just overall like a fun ride. A pretty short wait.
Not too bad.
Yeah, I think if we had to have done a roller coaster twice, it would have been either that one or my number 1 for me to do it like twice in a row. Yeah.
I would probably agree. Number 2, I have the Thunderhawk. So if we had gone on the Thunderhawk today, it probably would be my number 1. Like, I remember really liking it. Like, it was really fun. It reminded me kind of like, I don't think you've been on like the Windseeker or the Wind one. There's a couple rides at Cedar Point it reminded me of.
It reminded me of the Iron,
a little bit more than the Iron Dragon.
Yeah.
But like the Mantis kind of. I think the Mantis is a different ride now, or like some of those like kind of like not like Millennium.
There's like a green one at Cedar Point.
Yeah, I think that was the Mantis.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was like it was. I remember it being a very fun ride, but obviously as we didn't ride it, I didn't feel like I could put it as number 1. Right. It didn't feel right. So I was like, from memory, I probably would put it at 2, but it probably would have been 1.
I think it would have been my number 1 too.
Yeah. So just for disclaimer, I didn't feel right because it wasn't part of our experience of going.
Right.
I mean, we had the same number 1.
Yeah, number 1 was a Corkscrew. I definitely, out of all the roller coasters, the smoothest.
Very smooth.
Of the ones we rode, obviously.
Yes.
Corkscrew is fun. It's like, it's fun for kids, but it's also fun for adults. I think it goes pretty quick, and the loops are fun. didn't really, the wait time wasn't too bad. I mean, probably our second longest wait, but nothing compared to like the Mad Mouse. And honestly, getting locked in was kind of fun.
It was funny for me.
It was funny.
Really added my experience. The same with the someone having their phone out and getting yelled at. Like,
yeah.
You know.
I think overall, though, that one to me is the most, like, re-rideable.
I would agree.
Of all the rides we went on, if we
ride
had
to go
said,
on again.
like, do you want to go on one a second time, I would have said the Corkscrew.
I would have agreed. That's kind of what, when I was thinking what I want to put as number one, it was, for me, it's what ride would I want to ride again?
Right.
And I was like Corkscrew.
Yeah.
Of the rides we rode, that's the one I
Because
would have wanted to do a second time.
Mad Mouse is fun, but I wouldn't wait in line again.
No, it's not worth the wait.
Whereas Corkscrew, I think, was like half the wait time, but to me, worth it. I didn't mind waiting. Yeah, just a fun ride. The only one that we went on that day that you got to go like upside down at all.
Yes.
So yeah, it's just fun, and it's, you know,
it's
overall
fun.
like a solid ride.
It also was, I remember that being an early roller coaster that I went on as a kid that I was like, oh, I like this ride.
It's kind of like
it
an
wasn't
intro
too-
to roller coasters.
It wasn't too scary
Yeah.
because, like, for me, it was like the hills were like, you know, a little scary when you're a kid. But I was like, oh, and I remember it being fun. I think I went on it when I was maybe 8 or 9 years old, and I was like, oh, this is fun. And that was like a ride I was okay going on, like, even when I was like, I hate roller coasters.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, you know, I don't think we need to run through
No.
them again. But honestly, very fun. I had a really good time. I'm glad we got to finally do it because we've been trying to plan this for like 2 years now.
Yeah, and it was fun to go back to the park and realize, like, oh, it's still enjoyable even as an adult.
Yeah.
In terms of like wait lines, really weren't bad at all. Price, honestly, it's
Not too bad.
it was $45 or $43, and that's for, technically you get two parks. So the way Michigan Adventure works is like you go in and then the water park entrance is inside the park, so you have admittance to both
Full
parks.
access, yeah.
But yeah, honestly, $45 for now, like this day and age, like 2025 is, I wouldn't say it's that bad.
It's not that bad.
I feel like
$25 parking pass. Really
the
kind of blows a
$25
little
parking
bit,
is kind of
you know,
crazy. But I will say, like, the $45, I didn't feel like I was being, like, gypped for what we got to do.
Like, Hannah and I, we've talked about it. We used to go to Dollywood because
Yes.
our grandparents had, like, season passes there.
Yes.
So we'd get some type of discount. But their tickets are, like, $100
Right.
for a day, which is a lot comparatively.
Yeah, but
yeah.
overall fun. If you want to see us go back to do all the water rides,
Yeah, we could do,
let us know.
yeah.
We could try and hit up
Maybe do
Thunder
it.
Hawk.
I also thought potentially it could be fun to do, like, a Cedar Point.
Yeah.
You know,
'Cause we did-
or a
we did-
different amusement
Yes.
park some point.
If you have one that you'd like to recommend, maybe one
Yeah.
we haven't heard of or don't know about.
Because we've been to some, but I would have to be feasible for us to
Yes.
do it. You know, we'd have to either be, like, have it be planned out. Like, we'd obviously have to plan it out. Yeah, just the ones that are, like, due in a day, like, we can drive there and back in one day would be, like, Cedar Point's accessible. in
Yeah,
that
Cedar
sense.
Point's definitely doable.
But I think it could be fun to do that again. But yeah, if you have any suggestions for any parks you want us to go to, or if you have input on any of the rides, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah, if you've been to Michigan Adventure
yeah.
and you have a good story or your favorite ride, least favorite ride, we have our email, r3podcast@gmail.com. We have our Instagram. We have a letterbox, which isn't really relevant in this episode, but we still have it. But yeah, we'll be back.
Bye.
Bye.
We would like to thank Joseph McDade for our intro music. He provides free music available for all kinds of creative use. The song that we used is called Sunrise Expedition, and you can find it and his other music on his website, josephmcdade.com. If you would like to reach us, you can email us at r3podcasts@gmail.com. That's R, the number 3, podcasts@gmail.com. Or you can find us on Instagram by searching Research Rank Repeat.